The beam of Theo's flashlight cut through the misty darkness as he followed the strange trail of luminescent fluid deeper into the forest. At 35, he'd spent 15 years as a forest ranger in these remote mountains, but nothing had prepared him for what lay ahead. The crash site appeared suddenly, gleaming metallic object half buried in scorched earth. Steam rose from the wreckage, carrying an unfamiliar scent that reminded him of cinnamon and ozone. "Hello," he called, approaching cautiously. "Anyone hurt?" A soft whimper answered him. Following the sound, Theo discovered her huddled against a tree, humanoid but unmistakably alien. Her skin shimmered with a pearlescent lavender hue, and delicate fin-like structures ran along her forearms. Blood wore something like it trickled from a gash across her shoulder, glowing faintly in the darkness. "Don't be afraid," Theo whispered, lowering his flashlight. "I won't hurt you." The alien's iridescent orbs with vertical pupils regarded him warily. "Hurrahs. Coming," she managed in halting English. "Must... hide. Government helicopters would arrive soon." Whoever she was, Theo made his decision in an instant. "I'll help you," he said, offering his hand. She hesitated before taking it, her skin cool against his. "Naya," she said, touching her chest. "Theo," he replied, pointing to himself. He helped her to her feet, supporting her weight as they moved away from the crash site. His cabin was 3 miles away. They had to hurry. Dawn broke as they reached his remote home. Theo helped Naya inside just as distant rotors echoed through the valley. He drew the curtains closed and turned to find her collapsed on his floor. For 3 days, Theo tended to her wounds, using his limited medical knowledge. On the 4th day, her fever broke, and she opened her eyes. "You saved me," Naya said, her English now perfect. "They would have captured me." "Who are they?" Theo asked. "Your government. And eventually my people." Her expression darkened. "I was never meant to survive." "Why would your own people want you dead?" Naya's fingers intertwined with his. "Because I know the truth about the coming invasion." Bond's weeks passed as Naya recovered in Theo's cabin. The government's search had intensified, then gradually abandoned this remote sector. Each night, they watched the stars from his porch, her slender fingers pointing out her home system. "The Valerian Empire spans 12 worlds," Naya explained, her voice carrying a melodic lilt that captivated him. "We've observed Earth for centuries." Theo passed her a steaming mug of tea. "As potential conquests? As potential allies, initially? But the Emperor, my uncle, sees your planet differently." Her fingers brushed against his as she took the mug. "That's why I stole the reconnaissance data and tried to escape." Their hands lingered together longer than necessary, neither pulling away. "You risked everything to warn us?" Theo asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Naya's luminescent eyes met his. "I couldn't bear to see your world suffer." That night, Theo taught her to dance beneath the moonlight, her movements graceful, despite her healing wounds. As an old record player scratched out melodies from another era, Theo found himself drawing her closer. "Your heart beats so quickly," Naya whispered, her head against his chest. "Only when you're near," he admitted. When they kissed, her lips tasted like stardust and promise. Their bodies pressed together as the forest whispered around them, witnesses to something extraordinary, something forbidden. Later, as they lay entangled in sheets, Naya traced the outline of his face. "They'll find me eventually. The tracking beacon in my ship was damaged, not destroyed. Then we'll face them together," Theo said. Kissing her palm, a shooting star blazed across the night sky, reflected in Naya's eyes. "No one has ever stood for me before. Get used to it," he smiled. The warning came at dawn, a distant humming that made the windows vibrate. Naya bolted upright. "They're here." Theo grabbed the emergency pack he'd prepared. "How much time?" "Minutes. Maybe less." Fear laced her voice. "Theo, if they capture me, they'll erase all memory of you." He took her hand firmly. "Then they'll have to catch us first." The Valerian scout ship hovered silently above the tree line as Theo and Naya sprinted through the underbrush. His lungs burned with each desperate breath, but he refused to slow down. "There." Naya pointed toward a hidden ravine. My emergency beacon activated a recovery craft. A sleek silver vessel waited in the shadows, its hull adorned with swirling patterns that seemed to move on their own. Theo hesitated at the entrance ramp. "Once we leave," Naya said, squeezing his hand, "you may never see Earth again." Behind them, the forest erupted with energy blasts. Theo kissed her fiercely. "You are my home now." The interior of the ship hummed to life as they entered. Naya placed her palm against a control panel and the vessel rose smoothly into the atmosphere. Through the viewport, Theo watched his world shrink beneath them until it became just another blue marble among countless stars. "Welcome to my universe, Naya," whispered as they breached Earth's atmosphere. For 3 years, they navigated the edges of Valerian space, always one step ahead of the Imperial hunters. Naya taught Theo her language, the complex politics of her people, and the wonders of interstellar travel. In return, he shared Earth's art, music, and philosophy concepts that enthralled her. Their first night together in Zero. Gravity became a memory Theo would treasure forever. Their bodies floating in perfect union as nebula light painted their skin in cosmic hues. "I never imagined loving someone could feel like this," Naya confessed, her bioluminescent markings glowing brightly in her passion. On the mining colony of Darcis, they encountered another fugitive Yavik, a former Imperial scientist who recognized Naya immediately. "Princess," he gasped, dropping to his knee. "The entire fleet searches for you." Theo turned to her, stunned. "Princess." Naya's expression fell. "There's something I haven't told you." "The heir to the Valerian throne," Yavik explained, "and betrothed to unite our empire with the Mycerian collective. An arrangement I never agreed to," Naya added quickly, reaching for Theo's hand. "That's the real reason I fled." Royal Revelations, the Resistance, welcomed them with cautious optimism. Hidden in an asteroid belt at the edge of Valerian territory, their base housed thousands who opposed the Emperor's expansionist agenda. "My niece always had troublesome ideals," boomed a holographic figure, Emperor Zorith himself, addressing his war council. The recording Yavik had stolen played before them. "Find her and the human she protects, or I will have your families executed." Naya's fingers dug into Theo's arm. "This is worse than I feared." Commander Peller, leader of the Resistance, studied Theo with curious black eyes. "What makes this human so special that Zorith would risk open conflict with Earth to find him?" Yavik activated another hologram, Theo's genetic scan. "His DNA contains a rare sequence that can bond with Valerian royal blood. Their offspring would create a new evolutionary branch, one that threatens the purity laws." Theo looked at Naya, understanding dawning. "Is that why we... ... "No," she interrupted fiercely. "I loved you before I knew. The compatibility is merely a biological confirmation of what my heart already decided." That night, in their private quarters, Theo held her close. "All this time, I never asked why you were really in that ship." Naya's fingers traced the scar on his chest, a memento from a close call on Darcis Prime. "I was fleeing my wedding. The Mycerian prince is cruel, but politically advantageous. When I refused, my uncle ordered me drugged and transported to the ceremony." "So you hijacked your own transport," Theo smiled. Kissing her forehead, "crashed on the planet with the one being in the universe who could truly love me?" Her eyes glistened. "Fate has strange designs." Their moment of peace shattered as alarms blared throughout the base. Imperial warships had found them. "Can't run forever," Theo said, pulling on his battlesuit, a gift from the Resistance, modified for human physiology. "And perhaps it's time we stopped running," Naya replied, her royal demeanor emerging as she addressed the gathered rebels. 20 years ago, my uncle sought control through false purity. Today, we show him the strength of diversity." As the first boarding parties breached the hangar, Theo stood beside her, their hands intertwined. "Together, until the stars burn out," she promised. The Empire's surrender to decades had transformed them both. Gray-streaked Theo's once dark hair, and faint lines marked the corners of his eyes. Naya's royal markings had fully matured, glowing with ancestral power as they approached the Imperial Palace. Behind them stood their fleet. Ships from 100 worlds united under the banner of the new coalition. Their son, Prince Orion, commanded the vanguard. His features a perfect blend of both worlds. "When I left this place," Naya said softly, "I was running from a destiny I didn't choose." Theo squeezed her hand. "And now you're walking toward one you created." The palace gates opened without resistance. Inside, the imperial court waited, kneeling as Naya and Theo entered. Emperor Zorith, now ancient and frail, watched from his throne as his once fugitive niece approached. "The prophecy," he whispered, staring at Theo with bewilderment. "A foreign heart would change Valerian blood forever." "Not change," Naya corrected. "Strengthen. Look at what we've built, while you clung to outdated ideals," as if on cue. Ambassadors from every allied world stepped forward, humans, Valerians, and dozens of species once deemed inferior by imperial standards. "Your empire's finished," Theo stated, his voice carrying the authority earned through countless battles and diplomatic missions. "But its people can join something greater." Zorith rose shakily. "You think they will follow a human?" "They already do," Prince Orion responded, entering the chamber. The court gasped at the living embodiment of once forbidden union. That evening, as celebrations echoed throughout the capital, Theo and Naya stood on the palace balcony watching twin moons rise over the horizon. 20 years ago. "I found an injured alien in the forest," Theo mused, drawing her close. "I never imagined her empire would one day bow before me." Naya laughed softly, the sound still his favorite in all the universe. "And I never imagined a primitive human would teach an advanced civilization the most important lesson of all." "Which is?" Theo asked, kissing her luminescent cheek. "That love transcends species, transcends stars," she whispered. "And that sometimes the greatest adventures begin with a crash landing." Their lips met as fireworks bloomed across the alien sky, celebrating not just victory, but the journey that had brought them across galaxies to this perfect moment.